This is very needed to create a healthy situation. Girls need to be protected, now boys also need to be protected. I visited some families, there were over 430 people. They would educate them about their biology without making it into sex education. Misuse is happening at various levels, deception is happening. They're getting wild information all online. How to conduct it in a dignified way is something that has to be told.
It's said about you, Sadhguru can talk about anything under the sun. You are now lately talking about sex education and that how…
I'm not talking, somebody made a movie.
That's right. So, that was about OMG 2. So, tell me about that. How relevant, how important and what is…
See, this was a culture where families mean… I have, not my family, but I have visited some families where when I went, there were over 430 people in one family, in one large house in Gokarna, in Karnataka. I spent 3 days with them. It was an incredible experience to see how division of labor happens, how everything happens, and one man, what he says, everybody follows. In today's world of nuclear family, you can't imagine living like that. But they all lived like that. Children till they are 12, 15 years of age, they don't know who is their biological parents, they're just running all over the place. When they grew up like this, for boys there were many male members, for girls there were many women behind them. They would educate them about their biology without making it into sex education, normally as process of life. Because there are so many people in the family, girls need to be protected, now boys also need to be protected unfortunately. But at that time, girls need to be protected, so they would educate them what their body is, how they should behave, what they should do, they shouldn't let anybody do this, that, all these things. Naturally, grandmothers and others would speak. If the mother is little embarrassed to talk to her own daughter, there were aunts and grandmothers and grandaunts and all kinds of people who would easily talk to them. So this naturally was happening. Anyway, they were getting married by the time they were 14, 15 or 16 max. So everything they have to know, they would know. So life just happened that way. But today, we have come to a place where everybody has to educate themselves. That means minimum 23, 24. So their puberty might have happened 12, 13, but there are 10, 12 years of space where lot of them may not figure things out by themselves. So somebody has to tell them. Who is to tell them? It's a nuclear family. Only father and mother are there, nobody else, and they're busy with their stuff, and above all, they may not be able to communicate these things properly. They may become very embarrassed and the child may become very embarrassed. They may not be able to face each other if they talk such things. In the Indian culture, it is still like that. And above all, marriages were happening because they were arranged marriages, parents would check out who they are, what they are, and then fix it. And with the trust, people, both boys and girls, went with that without even seeing the girl. I know many of my uncles and all just married without seeing the girl because they trusted. They said, no, that girl is good-looking means, they said, okay, she's a good girl means good girl. That's all, because they always thought their judgment is better than my own. But that is not the age in which we are living. Today, by the time they're 12, 13, they are online, they have social media friends, all kinds of things. Misuse is happening at various levels, deception is happening. Just now they brought a law, any deception if you use, there will be 10 years imprisonment. So this is for the times in which we are. Maybe in another 50 years we may not need such things, but right now our society needs it because this is just the first generation, gullible generation, stepping out into a world that they are not familiar with, stepping out into… from an organized structure to a wide-open structure. A lot of misuse is happening. So, considering this, educating somebody about their own biology, what is the nature of your biology, why are you feeling the way you're feeling, how to conduct it in a dignified way that is dignified for you and people around you, is something that has to be told. Otherwise, they'll do wild kind of things. Above all, they'll hurt themselves, they'll feel guilty, they'll struggle, all these things. I feel any education is good education. Whatever is needed, you must educate, otherwise how will it happen? What form of education? That mode changes from time to time. Right now, that onus has fallen upon the schools because the family structure is no more that organized as it used to be. It has just come down to 2 or 3 or 4 people, so it's very difficult to do these kind of things there unless they've built that kind of relationship. Many parents are doing that, but that's not possible for everybody. So I think the onus definitely goes into the education system. But at the same time, these are kind of things that must be told to the child from somebody that they trust. Someone else who you don't care for, if they come and say all these things, I don't think it'll work. So creating those people in school that children trust them, that they can talk about these things and the children will be open enough to ask the right questions, I think this is very needed to create a healthy situation, especially to create safety for girl child in their adolescence and safety in terms of various other diseases and other things that spread. Otherwise, they're getting wild information all online, they're researching everything, and whoever guides them, that's how it goes. It is better at least a responsible person says this, even if you don't like him. At least a person, if he makes a mistake, you can hold him responsible. You can't hold anybody online responsible. But it's needed in the society because we are a society at crossroads. This is the first generation of women who are stepping out of their homes to go to work. They need to be educated. They may be adults, but still lot of them have no clue how the world works and they can be very easily misused. It's happening on a daily basis. And the younger girls probably are better educated than those little older ones because probably they have more access to information. I think it's very needed for women's safety, responsible behavior from the young males, all these things. Not that everything can be fixed, but it is definitely better if they're educated about this rather than playing hide and seek and learning in the back street.
So, Vivekananda, he went to Ramakrishna and asked, "Can you prove there is God?"
Ramakrishna asked, "Do you have the courage?" He hesitated for a moment and he said, "Yes, I want to see." And when he came out, all his questions had completely evaporated.
You heard of Swami Vivekananda. For those of you who do not know, Vivekananda was the first yogi who came to United States of America in 1893, Chicago. And his guru was Ramakrishna. So, Vivekananda was just 18 years of age and he was a fiery youth. One day, somebody told him there is this mystic, Ramakrishna, you must see him, he has all the answers. You have so many questions, that's where you should go. So he went. He is all fired up, full of intellect and full of argument about everything. He's an activist. He's not a spiritual seeker as such. He has no such intentions. Only thing is, he has questions. He's not a conscious seeker yet. He's more like an activist. He's going every place to demolish all the mumbo-jumbo that's going on around him. So he went to Ramakrishna and asked, "What is this all the time you're talking God, God? Can you prove there is God?" Ramakrishna said, "Well, I am the proof." So it just deflated him completely. He was expecting all those head-spinning arguments. Ramakrishna said, "Well, I am the proof. I'm here. This is the proof." Then he made the mistake of asking, "Can you make me? experience whatever it is.
Ramakrishna asked, do you have the courage? Vivekananda was known to be a very brave man. He hesitated for a moment and he said, yes, I want to see. Ramakrishna just took his foot and put it on his chest. And Vivekananda did not get up from a samadhi state for hours. And when he came out, all his questions had completely evaporated. After that, he didn't ask a single question.
He saw something that he had never imagined in his life. And then the madness caught him.
Ramakrishna himself, if he was left to himself, nobody in the world would have ever heard about him because he had no means to communicate with the rest of the world. He had no way of reaching out to people. He was incredible. Not cunning enough to operate with the world. Does not have the necessary will to do anything with the world. So he chose Vivekananda as his vehicle. He took Ramakrishna all over the world. There have been hundreds of Ramakrishnas, but you heard only of one Ramakrishna because of somebody like Vivekananda.
In almost every Indian home, generally this picture is there, Hindu monk picture. Everybody thinks Vivekananda is the inspiration. He inspired a whole generation of people. He continues to inspire millions of people even today because he was such a fiery human being. Whatever he spoke and whatever he did, in a short span of his life, he died very young at the age of 32. But in that short span, he set fire to a lot of people and created a major institution which is worldwide even today. The Ramakrishna mission is almost everywhere in the world.
When I went to Dakshineshwar in Calcutta, Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, his immediate disciples, after he passed away, when they formed this Ramakrishna mission, a new order, Ramakrishna never gave them initiation into monkhood or anything. After he passed away, these people decided that they will dedicate their lives to spreading his message. They came together and they became monks by themselves. They decided their lives must be dedicated to making this message happen. And when they came together and formed a little ashram on the banks of Hooghly in Calcutta, there's a picture of them. They're standing like this next to the river and there's a photograph, somebody took a photograph. You must see these men. These are men, okay? They are like fire. So they took it upon themselves, these 8 people, and Ramakrishna Mission went across the world and spread the message, and even today it's one of the most productive spiritual groups. They're still quietly doing their work in their own way. The only and the worst crime that you can commit in this life is you did not explore the full depth and potential of life. If you have to live well, your intelligence has to be deployed. There is no other way.
How to overcome this fear?
You cannot overcome something which does not exist.
My grandfather gave me an article written by you.
Yeah, I'm not that old as your grandfather.
What according to you is being successful in spirituality?
This is the most sophisticated machinery on the planet, this human mechanism. If this mechanism is made such a way that half the time it's in maintenance, you cannot call it the most sophisticated.
I want you to know the power of another kind of science, the yogic science, through which you can become a master of your own destiny.
If you want to experience life, if you want to know life in a deeper way than the way you're experiencing right now, if such a longing has come, then there are other ways to do it.
Namaskar, Sadhguru. The period of youth is defined by challenges, goals, achievements and ambitions. Many chase success as defined by others. In this hyper-connected, information-saturated era, there is the added stress of information overload and work-related burnout. Such stress takes away the happiness of our youngsters. We see more and more cases of depression amongst youth. How can the youth, in such challenging times, continually be happy? I want to know the truth about youth and happiness.
Namaskaram, Raj, and see, in every generation, there is a set of people who are always complaining about something. And of course, there are people who are making use of the situations of their times. As a generation today, we have more conveniences, comforts, and we are able to know whatever we wish to know. People who are complaining about information overload, they must visualize and see that 1,000 years ago, you wouldn't know what's happening 100 kilometers away. If even there was a great calamity or something fantastic happened 100 kilometers away, it would take a month or 2 months for you to get the information. Today, anywhere in the world, whatever is happening comes to you quickly, and are you complaining about it? Please do not complain about it, because this is one of the greatest privileges that we have as a generation, that technologically we are empowered like never before. Never before another humanity had the capabilities that we have simply because of technological empowerment. It is just that you have not prepared yourself for the life that you need to handle, in the sense, right now you're complaining about technology, which has made your life easy and comfortable. I want you to just imagine 1,000 years ago if you lived here, in the morning when you wake up, you need water for your use, you will have to walk down to the river and carry 2 buckets fulls of water. Believe me, most of the youth today are not even fit enough to carry 2 buckets of water for a mile. Physically, they're just not capable of doing it. So, if you were here 1,000 years ago without technology, would you carry these bucketfuls of water without complaint? No, you would complain because you are physically not capable. Similarly, if you have not made yourself mentally capable of handling various realities of today, then you complain. So what the youth needs to understand is, the early part of their life, the most important thing is not your ambitions, not your desires to be fulfilled, not the lifestyles that you aspire for. The only thing that you should be concerned about is how to enhance this life to a higher level of possibility. If you do invest enough time in the inner development of who you are, handling the present situations will be effortless, and above all, you will not be complaining about the greatest gifts that have been offered to you in this generation. Never before you could fly from India to United States in 14 hours' time. Never before you could pick up your phone and talk to somebody in any part of the world. Never before you could see 1,000,000 things happening all over the world, and even in the outer space, you can see what's happening. Please do not complain about these great gifts that you have. You have to equip yourself. Equipping yourself means there are technologies for inner well-being. What we're transmitting as inner engineering is just this, that you engineer yourself in such a way that you're fit for life. Instead of making yourself fit for life, you're asking life around you to change for your level of unfitness. Please don't do this. Right now, the world is not moving any faster than what it was a few thousand years ago. The world is still spinning at the same time. It is just that we feel that the distances have been reduced simply because of technological prowess that we have. This is the most fantastic thing that's happened to human beings is we are so technologically empowered. We can see beyond our normal vision, you can hear beyond your normal sense of hearing, you can experience things beyond your normal sense of experience. It's just that you have to upgrade yourself. The technology around you is phenomenally upgrading itself every few months or years. It's time you upgrade yourself. Upgradation of this technology, upgradation of who you are, enhancement of this life needs to happen. This is what in engineering or yoga means, that you focus on enhancing this life. Without enhancing this life, if you enhance your activity, of course you suffer the activity. It is like taking an old junky car on a F1 track, it'll fall apart. That's all that's happening to people. It's time that instead of just educating our children, just to make a living, just to find a job, just to get into this one or that one, we have to educate our children to first of all enhance themselves. Tools for self-transformation are the most important requirement of this age because external situations are going to be largely handled by machines. It's very important you are little smarter than the machines that you handle.
For me personally, the last 3 lives, it's the same work, same place. We are in the same place now once again. To some extent, same people. There are situations where many times I even end up calling them by their old names. We have taken them to those places of past life experience where they've clearly experienced what it is. And they're very much with us and they know it is so. This is not somebody's suggestion, this is not a story told to them. This is something that's a living experience within themselves. But again I insist, don't believe all this. Because by believing, you will destroy your possibility. Oh, I know there are lives. Finished you are. The moment you make a conclusion, you have destroyed all search within you. Yes? The moment you make a conclusion, there is no thing to search. I don't know. You can't live with an I don't know, isn't it? Yes? You cannot live with an I don't know. I don't know is uncomfortable right now, but it's a tremendous possibility. Because it starts the search. Once a deep I don't know enters you, you will see your whole life energy becomes search. It is not just an intellectual quest. Once the I don't know sinks into you very deeply, all that we have done in the 6 days is to bring you to a state where you don't know anything and you're happy about it. Yes? You have not been stuffed with knowledge in the 6 days. Slowly, you're coming to a state where you really don't know anything. If this I don't know sinks deep into you, you will see your very life energies becomes a seeking, a searching. Then truth cannot be hidden from you. If your seeking is intense, how can anybody hide it with you, for you? Because it's within you. Nobody can take that away from you. Right now, the seeking is not intense enough. Spirituality is still entertainment. 7-day flirtation. It's not going to work that way. When it sinks deep, something else happens.
So when we talk, when you use words of whose meaning we do not know, that's called rubbish, isn't it? But maybe socially very valuable rubbish because it confuses somebody. If you can confuse a few people, they may believe you're intelligent. Really. If you want to be perceived as intellectual, you just have to confuse a few people. You don't have to bring clarity to anybody. The work, the spirituality or the spiritual work is about bringing clarity, not confusion. Confusion we do only when people have deep conclusions. When people have conclusions in their mind which they believe is everything, then we confuse them a bit so that their conclusions get loosened up. Once Shankaran Pillai won the Meghalaya state lottery. That's still on? Is it still on or gone? No lottery. Okay, at the 1984. We change the date, what's the problem? After all, we made up the dates. We can use it the way we want it, isn't it? Not now, 1984, he won a lottery. And people gathered, press gathered, and everybody said, wow, we won a lottery. 56 crores. You heard those days, isn't it? So, how did you get this lucky number? So Shankaran Pillai said, I had 3 consecutive nights I had a dream. In the dream, it said, number 8, number 8, number 8 3 times. 3 times it appeared, 8, 8, 8. Then I thought, 3 times 8 is 32. And I went for the 32 ticket and I got it. And people said, well, 3 times 8 is not 32, it is 24. I said, what does it matter? I won the lottery. Telling you, existence does not fit into your logic. It's not logically correct. It's not logically correct, but it's fantastic. That means what's wrong? That means what's wrong? That means your logic is too limited, isn't it? No, existence is not correct. Why is it not fitting into my logic? This is the argument of a madman, isn't it? This is the way it is. If your logic doesn't fit into it, there's a problem with your head, not with the existence.
You know, in the spirit of a freewheeling conversation, I'm reminded of a film I saw about, I think it was 15 years ago the film was made, which was a series of conversations with quantum physicists and some mystics, to use that word. And the whole premise of the film was that the mystic and the quantum physicist is seeking an answer to the 3 basic questions, which are, who am I, where have I come from, and where am I going? I did not understand the film then. I am hoping that you would be able to throw some light on the 3 questions and, what the physicists and the mystics are seeking.
So you are asking me who you are?
Kind of.
See, it's all right to walk on the street, point at one of you and say, who are you? It's okay. You go to somebody and say, who am I? This happened in the Cincinnati airport. People had lined up to check in at the check-in counter. One man came briskly, jumped the line, went straight to the counter and thrust his ticket. The lady at the counter said, sir, there is a line, please. She said, no, I'm in a hurry. Well, she said, everybody's in a hurry, you're all getting on the same plane, so please stand in the line. Then he raised his voice, do you know who I am? She looked at him, promptly picked up the microphone and said, "There is a man here who does not know who he is, can somebody help him?" So, you should never address this question to someone else. All these so-called whatever, I don't know, I don't want to make comments, they all picked it up because that Ramana Maharshi's book, I think, became famous in California. Okay? Everywhere you go, everybody's talking, who am I, who are you? Who am I is a question that should be addressed within you, digging every time you ask it, digging it deeper and deeper and deeper into yourself. You never go and ask somebody, who am I? That smacks of something else. I was teaching a program in Los Angeles. And this is maybe 150, 200 people, half of them are all Hollywood types, and a whole lot of them look alike, many especially women, not because they're sisters, because they have the same doctor. And I'm teaching them an extremely simple process that they need to do every day, which is just 21 minutes, extremely simple. Just that. They're saying, "Sadhguru, you're teaching us all these things." But Ramana Maharshi said, "You don't have to do anything." Oh, Ramana came all this way from Tiruvannamalai. I said, "Yes, he is absolutely correct. You don't have to do anything." And he did nothing. He simply sat in one place like this, 14 years. Rats came and bit into his thighs, festering wounds, worms came out of it, but he did nothing, simply sat. Said, "You people are made like this, if a mosquito bites you, you'll call 911." You don't talk about doing nothing. Ramana talks about doing nothing, leave that, that's not your business. You are made like this, you don't talk about doing nothing. Ramana talked about, who am I, who am I? You never utter this to anybody. Don't ever go on, please all of you, don't go somewhere and ask someone, who am I? You can ask them, who are you? So, who am I is not even a question that you need to articulate. When I just said, the more you know about it, the better you can exist here. Not necessarily, don't always think about a human being like he's some kind of a machine, how much he has to produce, there's no such thing. But how he exists is important. When you sit here, how are you within yourself is important. What you wear may be socially important. What you drive may be important somewhere else. What kind of home you live in may be important for some other reason. But existentially, there's only one thing important. How are you within yourself? Are you pleasant or unpleasant every moment of your life? In 24 hours, how many moments of pleasantness, how many moments of unpleasantness, and how much support does it need to keep you pleasant? That's a question. Right now, in pursuit of human well-being, we've ripped the planet apart and still well-being is not happening. Comfort has happened, convenience has happened, well-being for sure has not happened, isn't it? As a generation of people, we are the most comfortable generation ever. Never before anybody could even imagine these things. But we cannot say we are the most joyful or blissful or ecstatic generation, no. Are we worse than others? I don't believe so. Every generation, same nonsense. Some people lived fantastic within themselves, others went through all the nonsense they had to go through. This is not because of what's happening to them. See, there are two kinds of suffering. Physical pain can happen to you because somebody may cause something to you, somebody is no food, you're in a war zone or somebody is poking you. I'm asking all of you, in the last 25 years, how many times it happened to you, somebody took a knife and poked you? For most of you, it didn't happen. Maybe when you're in your school, somebody poked you with a pin at the most, or you were not even worth that, nobody poked you.
They simply poked fun.
Huh?
They simply poked
Whichever.
fun at you.
Physically, how many times suffering entered you from outside? Very, very minimal. Rest is all self-help. In Tamil Nadu, the government has a scheme, Namaka Name. Namake Nave, it means. That means people are on self-help, busy, causing suffering to themselves daily. Sit, stand, whatever happens. So you will see people, most of them are driving their dream machines on Bangalore streets, all right? How many are driving joyfully? If the traffic light takes 10 more seconds, they're freaking in their dream machine. Is it not a blessing that you bought this dream machine after working for whatever number of years? Why don't you… The traffic is making sure you stay in your dream machine for a little longer. What's your problem? I'm saying just about anything, people are suffering. So suffering is not happening because of something else, it's simply because people do not know how to manage their body, their mind, their energies, their emotion, nothing. Because no attention has been paid. No attention to the nature of who you are has not been paid. So who you are, who am I, question is entirely internalized question, never to be uttered, never to be written down. Unfortunately, somebody printed it and the whole world is talking, who am I, who am I? Oh, this is okay if you are an inpatient. If you're an inpatient in Nimhans, you ask, who am I? That's allowed. That's allowed. If you're out on the street, you are not allowed to ask, who am I? Get me?
You've also talked about…
No, there are other two questions in that.
Yes. Yes. I'm waiting for those.
Where are you going? There's only one way to find out, you must go and see. As I was saying just now, some things are best known only by experience. People want to know, after my death, what will happen? I tell them, you must know by experience. Are you ready? No, then don't worry, wait. Where did I come from? See, essentially what you're asking is, all three questions put together, you're asking, what is the nature of my existence?
Yes.
Am I this body? Am I this? Am I that? What am I? What is the nature? Because whichever way you look at it, you can prove I'm that. Because for everything there is some substance. You can prove yourself to a woman, you say, I'm not this, I'm a human being, you can say, I'm just a piece of life, you can say, I'm God, somebody may think you're something else, doesn't matter, but for everything there is some substance. So you can argue for it, but that's not the point. Really, what is the nature of your existence? Don't take this as some kind of a great philosophical or spiritual question, please see it as a practical thing. If you want to know how to use this camera well, the more you know about it, the better it is. You agree with me? Hello? Yes. Similarly, if you want to use this human being properly, the more you know about it, the better it is. So self-realization is a very practical thing, not an esoteric thing. What you think is esoteric is all the things that you don't have an understanding of. You want to make it esoteric or you want to make it mystical. Let's understand this word mysticism or mystical. Anything that you don't understand will look mystical to you, isn't it? Suppose you don't know what's electricity, you have no concept of that. Now, I press something here, boom, lights come on. Very mystical for you, isn't it? See, if I just had a light bulb 1,000 years ago, I could have claimed I'm God and it would have worked. Came too late, you know. So, the more you know about it, the better you will live. This is not something that you seek at the end of your life. This should be the first step of your life, if you value your life. Yes?
Yeah.
Knowing this should be the first step of your life. Very beginning of your life, this question should be asked. Can I tell you a story?
Please.
There was a bishop in the Greek Catholic order. The Greek Orthodox Church believes they are the only real Christians, others are not really Christians. They think they are the only pure Christians, others are not really that. They have their own pope in Istanbul. So it became a very small group over a period of time for whatever reasons. So being on the Silk Route, many fantastic stories from India are wafting across the Bosphorus, and these stories are going on about the mystics and the yogis and the magic of India, which the Indians have not seen and everybody else has seen. So he always wanted to go to India. But being a man of cloth, he could not really choose where to go. After 60 years of age, when he semi-retired, he got an opportunity and he came to southern India. And he found the right kind of guides. Somebody told him, you go up this mountain, and they gave him the landmarks, and here there's one yogi, he is the right one to meet for you. So he climbed up the mountain. The man is not made for mountains. Mountains demand certain things from you. So he went up, and as they had said, there was a yogi sitting in front of a cave, blissed out. He went and he had heard that if you see an Indian yogi, you have to prostrate. But for that also, you need some fitness. This is a part of the Indian thing because that's the only exercise most Indians do. So whatever you see, you just bow down. But now they've learned…
A shortcut there
Yes,
too.
the idea is to touch the floor. Every time you keep doing it through the day, it's a good exercise, you don't have to spend extra time for exercise. So he struggled and scraping himself and sat up. All this commotion, the yogi opened his eyes and smiled. So the bishop asked, can I ask you a question? The yogi said, by all means. The bishop asked, what is life? This is after 60. The damn question you should have asked when you were 6, at least 16 you must have asked. No, 60, all right, better late than never, sometime you asked. So, when he asked this question, what is life, the yogi went into raptures. And then he said, life is like the fragrance of jasmine upon gentle spring breeze. The bishop looked like this, what? Fragrance of jasmine on gentle spring breeze? But our teacher told us, life is like a thorn. Once it gets into you, if you sit it hurts, if you lie down it hurts, if you stand up it hurts. And you're saying it is fragrance of jasmine, spring breeze and all this stuff. The yogi smiled and said, well, that's his life. So, we have never paid attention to the most important dimension of who you are. And you do not know life any other way than the way it happens within you.
Right.
Yes?
Right.
You are the only doorway to the existence for yourself.
Absolutely.
You can only experience through this mechanism and no other way.
Yep.
If you don't know this, what the hell are you doing here? And just because you know this, people label you as a mystic, as this, as that, and many people mispronounce it as a mistake,
What you just watched wasn't just a video, it was a presence exercise. If you stayed until now, it shows something in you is more awake. Comment on what stayed with you, what message hit you hardest, and share this with someone who also values this kind of conversation. Thanks, a big hug, and see you in the next video.